So RFC 140, we had, I think last time we had finally Shepherds and the RFC team, the steering committee accepted Alex, even though he's
nice,
somewhat of an author or reviewer or whatever. And the latest state is that all the Shepherds have accepted, have kind of put their check mark on the RFC. Robert also as a co-author. We have JK, we have Fire, Apollo. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so
There was
Fair, and then who was the other one? Paul?
yeah, well, all the Shepherds. So you can see it up here.
Okay. And so that's 06, Kelly, Jack.
Hey, John.
Hey, I am visiting a relative in Bonn, and not working today, but I could poke my head in on the phone a little.
Yeah. We won't take long, anyways. So all the Shepherds accepted it, like formally with a check mark, which is nice. I discussed with Pi a bit about how we should actually proceed, and so just kind of said, well, let's call FCP, but it's not called officially yet because I think the steering committee has to do that. And they should do that the next time they meet or whatever, which hopefully doesn't take too long. And we actually can't post in so there's an RFC announcements category on Discourse. We can't post in that ourselves. I think that's like limited to the steering committee.
Nice.
Yeah. There were some additional things to discuss. Well, this was just a suggestion, doesn't have to be in scope. There were some ideas on Matrix as well. You can check the Matrix backlog as well if you're interested in that, but nothing that requires changes to the RFC, or at least to this RFC. Yeah, so we're really just waiting for the steering committee again. And after that, well, I think I'll do the implementation like soonish. Well, when I get to it, honestly, I still don't really have a lot of motivation because it's still just waiting. But I should probably get to it soon. Because once the RFC is accepted, we could then effectively immediately merge the first implementation PR.
Excellent.
Yeah. And yeah, so that's great. And then the packages modules working group. That's progressing since last week, or since 2 weeks ago. We actually merged PRs that were accepted by everybody on the team for the first time. So we had actually, I think this one. Yeah, we had a whole bunch of accepting ones. And so we actually removed Jordan from the team since he hasn't been responsive. But yeah, anyone is free to join the team again if they are responsive. Otherwise, if we have this workflow of everybody needs to accept it to kind of establish the common knowledge, then we can't really have inactive members. But yeah, so I don't think there's anything else to say about that. Anyone have anything they want to mention about the RFC or the modules working group?
You said the RFC was close to being able to get to the point where a thing could be merged?
I didn't quite get that.
You said the RFC was almost to the point where something could be merged to Nixpkgs?
Well, just the RFC is ready to be accepted. The actual first implementation PR, so there's 2 PRs needed to implement this. That's not done yet.
But the RFC is ready. The Shepherd team broadly supportive. We're very close.
Yeah, all the shepherds accepted, so
Oh, excellent.
we
Well,
have agreement there. And there's no, so like we had Ilko bring up some argument about
big
why.
congratulations.
Yeah, very nice. We did
I
have
I
Ilko
also
bring up
left a
some
comment.
argument,
Oh, let's
but
let's
it's not super. I don't think it's a good argument. It doesn't really. So, well, he suggests essentially to go for this and just keep the shards next to the other folders in there.
Hmm.
I
Why
mean, it sounds like
packages?
it might.
Was the
briefly on
packages thing just because the name was confusing or something?
I think it's maybe something with getting rid of legacy, but then it would be really confusing to have packages and packages in the same directory.
Yeah, that
really,
one makes sense. The packages spelled out is what I thought was weird. So like
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
second,
I
the
mean
second
that.
one.
So if we use this one, we'd have the legacy pkgs slash top level and whatever else, plus the packages spelled out.
Yeah. The second one sort of makes sense to me. I mean, like if we, whatever. If there was something to compromise on, I would say the second one makes at least like would be fine. The first one,
I think
like, because the first
think
one I have like technical conflicts with that it's like not actually separating them in a way that can be searched, but like if it's unit versus PACKGS, I could kind of care less. Personally,
yeah,
that's just
I
me.
think both have problems. Right here, it's like we have. I didn't realize this until a bit later, but we actually have 700 shards here.
Mhm.
So this would be 700 directories interleaved with the ones
Yeah, so the first
already
one, like
there.
PKGS, is definitely
Yeah,
would
yeah.
not want to do
But
that. The
this
second one, I kind of
is.
could care less. Yeah.
Well, I also think this one is not realistic because, well, it's just really confusing when people enter the next package's root and then they see two packages directories, one spelled out and one not spelled out. And that's just.
I mean,
well, I'm forgetting, but the RFC makes clear that the internal directory structure is not part of the stable interface currently and after the RFC.
Yeah, yeah. It's not the stable interface, but it shouldn't confuse users. It should be unambiguous.
Yeah. Well, I meant that it's the unit's name was sort of chosen with thought that other things might go there. If that doesn't end up happening, then we can rename things.
Yeah, yeah.
Like we could have packages and packages legacy or something, or packages old or
Yeah.
whatever.
I think.
And
I
So
think
I
things
think.
could turn into package sets as opposed to packages at some point. And then you get rid of PKGS and you just have packages and package sets.
yeah.
Makes sense.
Well, that's true.
Maybe, yeah.
And
But that's
So there is.
that's the more.
I mean, we're not. There's no like. We're not pushing the unit thing too hard. It's plenty of time to have things
So, I mean, the
change.
name.
So
So it's one discussion is whether it should be nested under packages slash unit or package slash mod or whatever. So Ilko says it shouldn't be nested, but there's, I think, good arguments to say that it should be nested like that. A lot of the arguments are here already discussed. There's also new ones brought up in the RFC here. Cave yourself here made some good arguments, I think.
what's
as
the
well.
status quo that's packages slash units?
Can you repeat?
What is the current proposal? Packages slash units? I forget.
I still didn't get it. Your microphone quality is sometimes a bit weird.
Oh, sorry. What is is that? Oh, that's an alternative. The context is alternative, or the context is the current proposal.
Yeah. And so these are the potential alternatives, and then the
Oh.
arguments for and against the
Yeah,
alternative.
Well, yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, it's good that this is getting along, and
Yeah.
very, very
In the
happy.
end, in the end, right, I think just nesting this just makes more sense for now. We might move it later, and that won't be a big problem either.
Mhm.
In addition, another discussion is about the name. So that's one of the things Pygames pointed out here. The main unresolved discussion point is about the name to use for the folder. I wouldn't particularly call it an unresolved discussion. I feel like we are, like, unit is one that just makes the least nonsense. Wait, is that even? It makes the most sense.
No. I prefer the least nonsense.
Yeah, it's kind of yeah. It's
This
something
is a good
that's
double negative.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so, right, and in the end, the name also doesn't really matter that much. Like, it's the internal structure after all. As long as people don't get confused by it, then it should be fine. Also, something else in the matrix was that I was thinking that, so for example, we might want to have a README in this unit directory. Let me scroll to up here. So we might want to have a README in packages unit, which would, according to this CI check, be disallowed because it's not a subdirectory of this form. But of course, that's like an edge case that we should be able to just do that. And so it's like, maybe we should include a phrase here that says that like we can make small changes to the standard. And then I was like thinking, okay, maybe I would like to be pinged for such changes and to be able to approve such small changes, and larger changes should maybe go through an RFC. But then we ended up discussing that, well, if I put myself as a code owner, I will get notified and I will be able to complain about changes that might be kind of not good. And so it's not effectively a problem. And if we want to be more like enforceable for like things like you have to approve changes or certain people have to approve changes, then this should probably be a separate PR because it doesn't currently exist in Nixpkgs at all.
Is this section about policy or about planned work? What's the context?
So this is... Well, the planned work would be that the standard must be documented in the Nixpkgs manual. So this describes the standard, and well, we also need to implement this using the CI checks. But yeah, so the standard should end up in the manual, and so I guess this is only the initial version of the standard, and well, I don't really expect to have to amend the standard to point out there can be a README file. That's just kind of noisy.
I think RFC should never describe an end state because they're inherently changes. Right? We only write RFCs when we change something, and we change things that have been documented differently in previous RFCs. So they're not really documentation.
Yeah, agreed.
Not reference documentation. They're just
and actually,
in my view.
Yeah, and actually Pygames did start a thread on Discourse about just a bunch of issues that we kind of ran into with this RFC and with other RFCs, and that we might want to like change the RFC process a bit. And there's a discussion happening right now, so you might be interested in taking a look at that.
Yeah, I'll have a look. This should be in there.
Oh, I don't have a lot of notes here. But let me just link this here. All right. Anything I'm missing? Anything wants to say something about the RFC?
No.
No.
All right, then. Do we have any other topics we should look at?
Oh, I just noticed that my thing about RFCs and documentation has been mentioned in the thread already. Not super relevant, I think, but since we were discussing it.
Yeah. I was reminded of the discussion.
Yeah.
Right. All right, then I think let's officially end the meeting. I'll stay a bit longer.